Hi, this is JC Peretz with All-Star Charts, and today I want to talk about the overhead supply that we're seeing really across the board. This week we had our monthly conference call for All-Star Charts Premium, and one of the underlying themes was exactly that. We ran into resistance in early 2018, failed. In a lot of cases, we ran into a similar area entering the fourth quarter last year, failed once again, and now over the last couple of weeks, we're seeing a lot of these major indexes and sectors failing at that same level for the third time now. I think the poster child for this current situation is actually the Global 100 Index, which definitely has some more international exposure, although primarily American stocks. But I just think the fact that it's run into this exact same level three times, I think really tells the story about the current market environment. Bringing things back home a little bit, here you can see the Dow Jones Industrial Average pretty much doing the exact same thing. It might not be as clean, but the theme is still there. We are stuck underneath overhead supply. In other words, every time we've run into this level, we have seen, by definition, an overwhelming amount of buying relative to selling. So until the demand is able to absorb all of that supply, we can't move forward in these indexes. And now broadening things out a little bit more, when you include the Dow Jones Industrial Average 30 stocks and the 20 stocks from the Dow Jones Transportation Average, and then the 15 from the Dow Jones Utilities Index, that gives us 65 stocks, and that's the Dow Jones Composite Index. And look what's happening here. We run into resistance in the first quarter last year, once again entering the fourth quarter last year, failed, and now we're failing once again. But the way I learned it, the more times that a level is tested, the higher the likelihood that it breaks. And the reason for that is because the more times that price hits a certain level, the more opportunities that anybody willing to sell at that price will have already sold. And eventually, once that demand overwhelms the supply, that's when prices break out. And finally, I want to show you two more charts. The first one is the IPO Index, which is literally failing at the same exact level it failed at last year. And the next chart is the Dow Jones Internet Index, one of the most important sub-industry groups in the largest sector in America, which is technology, literally failing at the exact same price that we failed last year. So what needs to happen, JC? What do we need to see for prices to continue higher and start a new leg, a new cyclical rally after literally going nowhere for 16 months? What do we need to see? I think we need to see an expansion of breadth. When you look at the amount of sectors that are above last year's highs, it's only a small little fraction. When you look at the amount of international indexes around the world that are above last year's highs, again, it's just a small fraction. When you look at it in local currency, if you look at it in dollar denominated, all the international indexes, less than 10% are above last year's highs. So I think it's really going to take an expansion of breadth, more participation, and the reality of the matter is probably some more time. I think that's really the cure here. We're probably looking at something maybe in the next couple of months we look to break out. It's really going to depend on how the market absorbs this overhead supply on this third test. But like I said before, the way I learned it, the more times the level is tested, the higher the likelihood that it ultimately breaks. And in this particular case, I think we resolve higher. If you like what you see here, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and StockTwits at All-Star Charts. Thanks.